Good morning, everyone. I hope all of you are doing good, right? I welcome each one of you for today's English class. And before starting our class, let us recall back what we have done in our previous class. In our last class, we have done about antonyms, right? We have learned what are antonyms. Antonyms are opposite words, words which means opposite meanings, right? Which has opposite meanings. And I have also told you that many antonyms can also be formed by adding a prefix in front of the word which has been given, right? In today's class, we will take up another topic. So that would be under module 2, and the name of the topic is punctuation. What it is? Punctuation. So many of you might be thinking, what is punctuation? Punctuation means the use of punctuation marks like capital letters, full stop, exclamation mark, question mark, comma while writing. Okay, so what is the objective of our today's class? The objective of our class is to know about various punctuation marks, its importance and its uses. Alright, so I would like to basically emphasize in today's class the 5 basic punctuation marks. That is, the first one will be capital letters. What it is? Capital letters. So we will learn where to use capital letters. We cannot use capital letters wherever we want, right? So we will learn how and when to use capital letters. Second is comma. Where to use a comma? Comma tells us about a small pause, right? So when to use commas, we will also learn that. The next one, number 3, is question mark. When are we supposed to use a question mark? We'll be learning that as well. The next one is a full stop. When to use a full stop, we'll also learn that. And the last one is an exclamation mark. When to use an exclamation mark. So let us learn in detail with the help of few examples. So let us look here and try to understand it. So students, we'll first start with capital letters. All of you know that we use capital letters during certain rule is there, okay? And most of us, we know at the beginning of a sentence we use a capital letter. But there is an acronym given. That means a short form given here. What is that acronym? It will help us to know when are we supposed to use capital letters. It's very catchy. It's called as MINTS. M-I-N-T-S. MINTS. All of you please repeat it after me. MINTS. M-I-N-T-S. It's a short form. Okay. So let us see when to use this capital letters and what is this MINTS. M stands for months of a year and days of a week. Months of a year means January, February, all these. And days of a week also always begins with a capital letter and never with a small letter. Right, once again, M stands for months of a year and days of a week. Alright, all of you have understood? The next one is I. What does I stand for? I stands for whenever you talk about yourself, the pronoun I. When you talk about yourself, referring to you, that time we never write in a small letter I. Rather, we write it in a capital letter. So, I refers to the pronoun I. Okay. So, the third one is N. What does the letter N stands for? N stands for the names of people, cities. Okay. That is the proper name of people, animals, states. All these things falls under the category of N. That is names. That is the proper name of people, animal, things or place. Alright, we always use capital letter. Then what is this T stands for? T stands for the title of movies. I know many of you are watching movies these days. Have you observed, children, the names of movies never appear in small letters. It always appears in capital letters. And also the title of books, right? The name of books never appears in small letters. It always appears in capital letters. And the last one is S. S means the start of a sentence. The beginning of a sentence always starts with a capital letter. So there are 5 instances where we have to use capital letters, right? So let us recall that. M is months of a year and days of a week. I means pronoun I when you are referring to yourself. N means that is the proper name of person, place, animal or thing. T means title of movies and also books, and S means the start of a sentence. Now let us see the use of full stop. Full stop. So this is the symbol of a full stop. All of you know it. When it is used at the end of statement sentences. All of you know that there are various kinds of sentences. A sentence can be divided into 4 types, right? So, whenever we use a declarative or statement sentences, we tend to use what? We tend to use at the end of the sentence, we use a full stop. A sentence cannot be completed without a full stop. At the end of the sentence, a full stop is required. Okay, I have given here an example. I like to go to school. It's a statement. It is a declaration, right? It is telling us something about the person, right? So, at the end of the sentence, I give a full stop. Let us see the use of comma. What does comma tells us? Comma refers as small pause. Small pause. That means small stoppage. Whereas a full stop tells us a longer pause. It shows us a longer pause. Whereas a comma is a small pause. So when are we supposed to use this comma? There are 2 instances or 2 places where you need to use comma. Okay, first is it is used to separate 3 or more items in a list. So when many names occurs, it may be proper names, it many nouns occurs, proper or common, we tend to separate it with the help of a comma. Here is an example. He bought vegetables, milk, fruits and cheese from the market. So see students here, if I simply read he bought vegetables, milk, fruit and cheese from the market, what will happen? The reader, the listener will get confused. Even the reader if there is no comma. But comma tells us, shows us a small pause and helps us to understand the sentence, right? So when I read the sentence, he bought vegetables, milk, fruits and cheese from the market. So it helps us to separate the things and makes the meaning more clearer to the readers. So this is one of the instance, one of the place where we need to use comma. Another is, it is also used to separate the person address from the rest of the sentence. For example, somebody is being called or is being ordered something, address is being asked for something to do. That time also we use a comma to segregate, to separate the subject from the rest of the sentence. For example, I have given here, Rohan, sit down. So here Rohan is the subject. Okay, you need to give a comma. Then somebody has asked Rohan to sit down. One more example can be given as Mala, get out, right? So whenever somebody is being addressed, it is also used to separate the person addressed from the rest of the sentence. Let us see the question mark. Okay, very simple. You have learned it in your previous grade, that is in class 3 as well. So question mark it is used at the end of question sentences only. Only the sentences which ask question are ended with a question mark. Okay, and mostly it is said as WH sentences like when, where, whose, what. All these sentences, the beginning of the sentences starting with WH uses a question mark, right? And here also any sentence which asks us a question ends with a question mark and not with a full stop. So I've given here an example. Where are you going? So it's a question sentence. It asks us to give us a response. It needs an answer. So this question sentence ends with a question mark, right? So let us see the last punctuation mark for today's class, that is called as exclamation mark. This symbol, I hope all of you know it. This is called as an exclamation mark. So when are exclamation mark used? You already know, at the end of exclamatory sentences. So what are the exclamatory sentences? Sentences which shows sudden emotion of happiness, excitement, anger. This kind of sentences requires an exclamation mark. So there are two uses of it, and we can use it at two instances. The first one is it is used to at the end of a sentence which shows sudden emotion. It may be happiness, excitement, anger, right? So one of the example I've given, what a beautiful dress. So here it is an emotion of what? Surprise, right? What a beautiful dress. So at the end of such sentence we use an exclamation mark because the person who is stating that is amazed by the beauty of the dress. Sudden emotion is there. Similarly, we also use an exclamation mark at the end of interjections. Interjections are what? Interjections are words that expresses strong feelings and emotions. For example, wow, hooray, alas. So as soon as the interjection has been written, there we give an exclamation mark. Well, I have given here an example. Hooray! We won the match. So hooray is an interjection. Just after the interjection, we give an exclamation mark, and at the end we give a full stop. Right? So in today's class, we have learned about 5 different punctuation marks. Right? So let us recall which are they. We have learned about the use of capital letters. We have learned about the use of full stop. We have also learned about the use of comma. We have also learned about the use of question mark, and at the end we have learned about the use of an exclamation mark. Right. So let us recall back for a short period of time. When a capital letter is used, there is an acronym given. Hope all of you still remember it. What is the acronym? MINTS. M-I-N-T-S, right? So what does M stands for? It stands for months of a year and days of a week. Then I stands for whenever you talk about yourself, the pronoun I. It's never written in small letter. It is rather written in capital letter. What about N? N stands for the special name of people, person, animal or things, right? What about T? T stands for the title of movies and also books. And what about the S? S stands for the start of a sentence, right? What about the use of a full stop? A full stop is being given at the end of declarative or statement sentences, right? What about the use of comma? Where do we give comma? We give comma when there are multiple nouns coming together in order to help the readers understand it and not to mislead them. We tend to use what? We tend to give short pause comma, right? And also we tend to give comma to the person or the subject who is being addressed in a sentence. And we come to the next punctuation mark, that is question mark, right? It's very simple. Question mark is used at the end of only question sentences. Only the sentences which asks us a question requires a question mark at the end and not a full stop, right? And the last one which we have seen today is the use of an exclamation mark. An exclamation mark is used at the end of exclamatory sentences. What are exclamatory sentences? Sentences that shows sudden emotion. It may be emotion of happiness, sadness, joy, excitement, surprise. So at the end of those sentences we give an exclamation mark. And also after using an interjection like wow, hooray, alas, we give an exclamatory mark, right? So with this we come to the conclusion of our class for today. So I will see you all in my next class. Go through the video once again. There are simple exercises given in your workbook. Try to do that and I shall see you all in my next class. So take care students. Bye bye.